There's a thing in my mind that sovereignty is contrary to environment and culture. It's individuality, it's your individual contribution. Your sovereignty is what you are putting in, and it changes the creation. So I'm putting fruitarian diet into where it is not, or it's not a harmony, it's cutting across all sorts of norms and expectations and patterns and structures in the world around me. And I'm introducing something new, and of course I think I'm introducing, well, I say new, but I'm reintroducing really what I think may have been original, which is we're meant to be eating fruit. But it's contrary to much of the pattern of the society and the life I'm living in. So, of course, I was going to say this is not easy. I mean, of course, it's if you're going to exercise sovereignty, you've got to be used to handling such, dare I say, discord, and bring it in the most, introduce it, graft it in the most harmonious and acceptable way. So I'm looking for a way of encouraging my following a fruit diet that is comfortably dovetailed in, so to speak, and blended in harmoniously, as opposed to in flat contradiction to the life that I'm at present living and its environment and so forth. So I make concessions along the way in order for it to start to be acceptable and blend in. I don't starkly introduce it. Now sometimes we do miraculously, we want healing, bang, now, cut across, miracle. It's come from outside. If we leave creation to as it is, it's not going to heal, and we cut across it and we say, I bring healing into this. We speak the word and change the dream of reality, hopefully to good, to a different development that's a blessing. And I'm doing the same when I introduce new ways, like a fruitarian diet in myself. I don't mean I'm insisting other people do it, of course, but I'm pressing and insisting that myself, bang, I'm fruitarian. And of course, I might get feedback information from living that this is not quite acceptable, it needs to be modified in various ways. And at the minute I'm modifying it so much that I'm not achieving it. I'm simply falling back into the existing pattern, whereas I am sovereignly wanting to steer it, at least my diet that is, into being fruitarian, and I think because it would be such a blessing to all of specifically mankind, if they eat this way. So I'm not sure about how I miraculously introduce that development, that achievement. It is development. The word's right. We need to develop. We both cut across miraculously and develop the harmony. So I introduce the miraculous in the idea of being fruitarian, and then try and see how it can be harmoniously achieved. Now, when it comes to something dramatic like healing or casting out demons, as we're not focusing so much on the blend and the harmony as a change and the contrast. Whereas, well, all of what God achieves is incredibly miraculous, but at the same time, it seems to be much more development than staccato, dramatic, conflicting changes. In other words, dare I say it, but God allows the creation to develop and evolve into the fullness of his thoughts as they expand on the subject, so to speak. And, we change from glory into glory. The change is, sometimes catastrophic: world wars, eruptions, and climate changes, and planets exploding, but much of what we see of life, civilization life, evolves, develops, is the outgrowing. It grows rather than miraculously staccato changes from one discontinuous blessing to another. So, I can develop the fruitarian diet, or I can go for the miraculous change. I'd like the shortcut. The miraculous change seems to be very hard to pull off. On the other hand, God does display miraculous creativity at times, not just development, active blessing, not just development, miracle. Let me pause. Well, I want to address specifically achieving, being fruitarian. Go for it miracle-wise, flat out. It'll be less harmonious, it'll be more of a staccato jump from one pattern to another. And that is a bit hazardous, a bit violent, a bit demanding on, you suddenly find out that's not harmonious with so-and-so, this seems to be making me dreadfully ill, not wonderfully healthy. And perhaps adjusting from one diet to another for the body's sake and the mind's sake. Perhaps it needs to be a development towards a quick enough development to be the best blessing, slow enough to be the best blessing too, and not to be hazardous in uncertainty. Slow developments tend to reduce the risk. You see the dangers coming and you avoid them. Dramatic changes tend to be with dramatic risk as well. You might cast out a demon, but perhaps you wreck the demon's life. That also is important with God. Okay, there may be different priorities going on. I don't know what God's priorities are in a sense, but I would like, rather than cast out demons, to find the best place for the demon, which is not in this person here, and perhaps the best future for the demon, which is a transformation back, if you like, to being an angel of light, having been an angel of darkness. That could be such a wonderful blessing, can't it? You see, we conceive of the most wonderful, and then we conceive of a path that leads to that. And that's what God has done with creation. It's miraculously wonderful, yes. But it's working along, it's using a time dimension to develop rather than a non-time dimension, which is just to miraculously change on the spot. Simply change thoughts that God is having. And perhaps both forms of change have their place, and it's knowing when to exercise which. Now coming back to, and I keep pulling my mind back to, I think in circles because we want to build on, not just leave a thought stranded and not developed. I want to build on this concern for being fruitarian, how to achieve it. So I bring my conversation, my prayers, my mind, my analysis back to a particular theme that I'm concerned about, in this case, fruitarian diet. And so I'm saying, how then, what blend of the miraculous and the developmental of your creativity, God, should I be using as regards achieving and considering further this goal of being fruitarian? And I just ask your guidance, Father, your wonderful leading. And I thank you for it, Lord. Thank you, Heavenly Father. And I don't mean I've got it yet. I mean by that I'm asking for it and believing that I'm receiving it. I'm trusting Him, aren't I? And that's the way it should be. Thank you, Heavenly Father.